4 of the Ignite Your Life show. I'm Elisa Planeas, and I'm here with.
Hi, I'm Guillermo Vidal, the co-host with Elisa, and we're happy to see you. And today's topic is that although it may seem like it sometimes, the world is not really coming to an end.
Woo! Thank goodness for that.
Yeah,
Wow.
and sometimes it seems like it for sure.
Oh my goodness. It does for many reasons. Some, I guess, that's the thing that when I was a child, that was very scary to me. People were talking about, the world's coming to the end, the world's coming to the end. Every time the clouds turn pink in the sky, I'm going, oh, I just got here. Will you guys cut it out already? I'm like 5 or 6 years old. I'm like, that's not fair. Everybody that says the world's coming to an end are grown-ups and they've lived their life. Why did they put me here to do it?
Yeah,
So,
I hear you. Well, and you know what? If you watch the news every day, you think that, I mean, we're just like a hair away from total annihilation of the planet.
yeah.
Or if you watch, every cop program that you watch on TV, there's so much murder and mystery that you think if you walk out in the street, somebody's going to kill you. Or
It's too much paranoia.
yeah, yeah, and you know what?
Yeah.
One of the, and it's certainly one of my favorite. Think of all the apocalyptic shows there are on TV, like The Walking Dead, where a pandemic wipes out 99% of the population, due to some kind of germ warfare.
Well, we're still
You know,
standing.
and you know what? And so then we all start thinking that, oh my God, it's coming to an end. But the
Right.
fact is that it's not, that the overwhelming actions of human beings are kindness and generosity, and people just trying to make their own way and create a better world.
Yeah. That's totally been my experience because I stopped trying to wait for the world to end. You know what I mean? And I'm going, well, what do we do now? We have to have purpose in life. And if you're stuck on what's going wrong and you're thinking that it's, oh well, that's any minute, that's just it. You I don't have time to get my stuff right. It's just a really limiting point of view to try to think of it that way. For some people, it doesn't even go as far as broad as the entire world. It could just be their own life. You know what I mean? That's it for my my life.
Yeah.
Uh, and it doesn't help when there's all of the things going on in the media that just feeds their own belief. So for some, they don't even have the worldwide kind of broader perspective, but they
No.
have it in their life, and it's the way it's affecting them. Either way, if you're thinking about it on the global scale, if you're thinking about it, from your individual position, then it's a limiting belief in what you do, your performance in this life.
I agree. And I remember in my old time career when I was growing up as an engineer in government, I took a training session about media development. Like how to deal with the media, because I was starting to go in front of the camera for interviews and what have you. And all I remember is that the main lecturer told us something that really applies to this today. So I know I'm meandering a little bit, and so hang in there with me.
Me
But
too.
what this person said was, here's what you need to remember about the media. Dog bites man. That's not a story. Dogs bite people all the time. But then he says, man bites dog. Now you have a story, because it's so unusual and so exceptional that people will want to hear it. And so I think that the news cycle, it's not that they're telling us false stories, is that they're just always telling us the worst stories they can find. And I think that all those things do is fill us with fear. And then we think that we need to protect ourselves because, my God, I better get more toilet paper because everybody's running the stores with it, and then you can't think clearly. And these are things that really are nonsense in the end.
Yeah, it's funny how addictive that is. You know, if people tune in and they could have to feel that it's not the best influence for their life, and yet it's almost like they can't go without it. You know, and it's like what you go, you should go with what enriches your life. But fear seems so addictive. I don't understand what the attraction is to.
Well, but and think about how destructive, because I'm sure you know a lot of people. I see my neighbors and they're all talking like, "Oh my God, the United States
Uh,
is falling apart," or it won't be
I,
long. It won't be
I
long before we are, in a nuclear holocaust or whatever. And the fact is that they're addicted to fear. And
it's all.
and like I said, if you watch TV, everything you watch on TV, where there's the news or programs, regular program. Heck, even reality shows where they just show you like the weirdest people you can probably imagine, and call that normal. That you are just surrounded by fear, and I think you're right. It is addictive because people tune into that day in and day out. It's like,
Incessantly. Yeah.
yeah, it's like I got to find out what's going on today. And I think that is what's making people so fearful and pessimistic.
And for me, what's going on today is whatever is going on with you. Because as human beings, we have so much development that we have to do, no matter what stage we are in our life. You know, it doesn't matter if you're like a doctor and you've got to live in this great house and have this wonderful type of life. You still have some development to do. And to everybody on every level, it doesn't matter if you're a billionaire, you still have some personal, development to do.
Right,
So
right.
and you will find that the people that are the wealthiest are also they might be involved in some of the gunk people are seeing on the media, but their own lives is not revolved around watching this media and making their daily life decisions based on that. They are focused on their success and how to get more success, and that's where they are at. That's what they're working on. They'll go to that one media appearance and then they're off to something else. They're off running their companies or whatever, trying to do the best strategy, and it's so if the expectation is that everything ultimately is going to fail, then it becomes, well, what's the point of doing anything? What's the point of growing a business? What's the point of buying a house? What's the point of having, living a dream life here where it seems like, there's nothing but doom and failure? So it's like, what are you paying attention to in your life? It's going to influence how you live your life so much.
Well, I think, and I think that our message today is there is a point. There is a point in creating your life. There is a point in
That
the goal you want to have a house and raise a family and all that. There is a point, but you're going to have to cleanse yourself of those influences that discourage you and make you feel depressed, because if you're constantly always in fear, you cannot think clearly, and you're always going to block your higher power from connecting with you and helping you develop to be your greater self. So I think you're right. uh, there is a point. But think about it. All of us, whether you're a Republican or Democrat or whatever you are, black, white, uh, Asian, Hispanic, all of us, we may have different beliefs, but all of us are trying to do good. We're trying to raise families. We're trying to contribute to our community. We're trying to make a living doing something that's good for other people, and so that's the majority of what we do. And and people are doing that all over the world. It's the overwhelming thing all over the world, people doing good.
Yes, it is. I mean, that's why I continue to stand. That day when I was 6 years old, looking outside at the storms and seeing the clouds turn a strange color and being afraid because of all the stuff that I heard, other people talking about
Right,
the
right.
world coming to an end. From that point, I've lived many days to this point. You know what I mean? And I've had many challenges and have found, many solutions where when I looked to the well-being, it was there for me, you know. But in all that, when I was wrapped up in all that fear, that's what I could see. And until I wanted to see something else, then I was trapped in. My growth always came from where I had a fear, and I turned and looked the other way and said, you know what, this is not what I want to give my life to. And when I looked towards that well-being, then that well-being was there for me. And it's not because I'm special. It's that way because it's that way. That's just the way it is. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think that that's exactly the message that I think we want to give our viewers today is simply that push the fear aside, push those influences that give you fear aside, because really all you need to do is just keep trying to do your best day in and day out with the things that are in front of you. And then, challenge yourself like you did by overcoming your fear and really doing something positive with your life. And I think that's what I want to say. But if you're like totally depressed because you think that, oh my God, the world's coming to an end because this happened or that happened, then you're just allowing obstacles that you can overcome, but you're allowing them to stop you.
Just
You're allowing that fear to stop you.
you have to hope for your best desire. That's basically what it is. Because when you get to the point of things that you want in your life and you're going, what's the point? What's the point of building a family? What's the point of, being a property owner or a business owner, anything like that? Is that you have to not look at, oh, nobody's ever made it, or all these reports say that it doesn't work out. You have to look to your feeling of what you want in your heart and go after that because you want to, because it's your desire, and not looking to the negative, bleak. The future is not here yet, so we're free from that. We can live, focus on what we need to do now.
Well, there's a saying that that tomorrow is not promised to anyone, and it's not. But if you think that the next moment is something to be afraid of, then you'll find reasons to be afraid. But if you
Yeah.
look at the next moment as, I can live my best life by the decisions that I make, then it
Yeah.
will be that. But I think you're going to have to choose thoughts and sources that feed those positive feelings and reject the ones that are constantly feeling your fear.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You know what? That those thoughts don't just come from when a person consciously decides, okay, I'm going to sit down and watch the news today or the media. It comes from their interactions. They could just be out in a grocery store. You know what I mean? It comes up to them. But if you have to have your resiliency about you, your own mindset. If you are not in the habit of focusing on your desires, your thing, and these things are coming at you, then you're going to allow yourself to kind of attuned to that, and you feel like, well, I don't have any control because this is the way the world is, because it keeps coming to you. But you don't realize that you do have a choice about what you think about. In fact, that's the best choice that you have. And so if someone's coming to you with, maybe say, hey, man, there's a lot of people that are saying, I'm not watching the news, I'm going to at least take a 30-day break, from watching the news. And they try that, and then maybe it's their colleagues, you know what I mean, or just somebody.
Yeah.
Did you know what happened in the news and blah blah blah? And
Well,
you're
but
like, I,
I'm one of those people that I only watched like I watch the PBS News Hour because it's just 1 hour, and that keeps me um, informed. I don't need to keep hearing the same story over and over and how terrible things are and how this might happen or that terrible thing might happen, because after a while you just start thinking like, oh my God, what's the point? But I
yeah,
also then remind myself, the world has gone through terrible things. The world wars, the Holocaust, the imprisonment of Japanese American citizens. I mean, even in my childhood, the Cuban Missile Crisis, there was a thought at one time that the world was going to blow up in a nuclear war. Yet the world has survived it. And you know why? Because human goodness always prevails. And that's what I think about is human goodness, no matter what the issue is, whether it's in your life or in the world's life, human goodness always prevails. Although it doesn't always seem like it, it always does.
yeah.
So that gives me hope. And I don't see things as, oh, that's a sign the world's coming to an end.
I mean, and you can choose. You can choose that if you want to be a contribution to that saving energy, that positive. You want to be one of those people that's standing for, hey, we always triumph doing the well-being, or you're going to be the one. And they don't. The ones that are in fear don't recognize what side they're choosing. I think they don't.
Right. No, no, I think they feel justified in their fear,
Uh,
but one of my favorite authors, Wayne Dyer, he says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at begin to change. And I think that that's what you're saying is you have to choose the thoughts that make a change. So you have to choose the way you look at things in a way that creates a positive view of what you're looking at. But if you think the world's coming to an end, you will create that in your own mind. Everything you see is just a sign that the world's coming to an end, and it isn't. So you would live a happier, more fulfilled life if you choose to believe, and rightfully so, because it's actually more than proven. If you choose to believe that there's a heck of a lot more goodness in this world than there is evil, and there's a lot more to live for than there is problems.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But we're here for, for the experience. Okay, so keep it interesting, but that doesn't mean you let. There's a difference between an interesting life and living a life of fear. There's a difference between going on an adventure, being adventurous, having new discoveries, and then just um, saying that, oh, it's just bad things that's coming, to me or whatever. Whatever have you have your life experience. However you choose to see that experience, it impacts what happens next for you. It really does. So if something goes to your life, and you have to choose how you're going to respond to it, and how you're going to view it, how you're going to perceive it.
I,
you know
I
and,
think so, and I think that um, um, our perception, really is everything. Like for me, it's kind of a choice. I believe that our human journey is to develop, and the things that happen to us, they teach us, and we grow as a result. We become more mature. But
exactly.
but there was a time in my life I thought I was just one small steel ball hitting one bumper to another in
Yeah,
the pinball machine of life,
yeah,
and it
no
and it just
control.
hasn't been. The truth is, as I look back in my life, is it hasn't been that way at all. Every experience I have has taught me, but there were times where I made the choices of hatred and revenge and fear, and that was just holding me back. When I learned to see the goodness in things and how they helped to shape me, and the good things that they taught me, my life began to change.
Yeah, you know what? You bring us something really important, Guillermo. That step, that choosing for that positive, is actually not just a side step; it's a growth step. So when you choose a positive, then you grow. That's you're moving forward. And when you choose to choose the side of fear, then you are stuck. So that's the difference. You
I,
either
I
choose to grow or choose to feel stuck.
Yeah, I agree. They say it as one is the path of love, and that's kindness, courage, generosity, empowerment, succeeding, pushing through problems. And the other is fear, which includes hatred, revenge, violence. So I think what you said is right. This path, the path of more positive vibes, is actually the way to live. The other one, the path of hatred, it just holds you back, and it freezes you in a mental state that just brings decay and depression and despondency, really.
And it doesn't help you. And if you look around and you see the other one thriving, you're going, wait a minute, didn't you watch the news with me? Didn't you see
Yeah.
how are you so happy? Why are you driving the car you love?
Yeah.
Why are you married to this beautiful mate that you always want? Why are you having this life that's so good? Don't you know what we're supposed to be
Well, but
doing?
maybe that's it right there. Maybe they're not filling themselves with all that negative influence. They just avoid it, and they see the goodness of life and stick with those vibes. And I think it is our decision to do that.
All right.
It's our choice.
But look at him go, succeeding. Oh, he must be one of those that's gonna push the red button, you know. Those are only ones, that's on top. Wait,
Yeah,
oh
yeah, yeah,
they did it.
yeah. Or,
They're,
hey, I
like,
just won the lottery. Man, somebody's going to want to steal my money,
right.
immediately. Right.
No,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, right. It's the Debbie Downer thing. You're going to make everything into a negative. But, I think that's the conclusion of our program. It's exactly that. If you keep thinking that the world's coming to an end, then in your mind, it will continue to do so. But you
For you.
can change that. the
Right.
the fact is that the world is not coming to an end. These are all challenges that move us to grow. So embrace it.
All right, Guillermo, that's our show for today. Until next week, the Ignite Your Life show.
Okay. Nice to see you, Lisa.
Nice to see you, Guillermo.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.